All right, hello once again, everyone. This is Demarion Jones, and
I'm Noah Allen.
And I'm Kristen Gibson.
And today our guest is
Adam Hopper.
Awesome. But this is actually going to be episode 4 of SCC's The Gateway, and looking forward to a great episode and really a continuation of the entire series. So just to start off, Mr. Hopper, would you actually give us a bit of a background about yourself?
Sure. My name's Adam Hopper. I'm the director of percussion at Southwestern High School and one of the band directors at Southern Middle School. I've been in those positions since 2009, and I'm actually originally from Monticello, Kentucky, and went to Campbellsville University, got a degree in music education and percussion performance, and been here ever since. Live in Somerset with my wife and my son, Jack.
Awesome. So before we move forward, I just wanted to actually introduce each of us as the panelists on here. And so I'll start off. Demarion Jones, actually like an entrepreneur and an artist, expanding 2 businesses right now, one within finance and another within digital marketing. And really, I'm also like a part-time student here, graphic design major at SCC. And Noah, take it away.
Yeah, my name's Noah Allen. I'm the technical specialist here at the Bridge in the Gateway. My major is also graphic design here at SCC. I've been in the program for a full year. This is actually my last semester here at the Bridge. But so Kristen.
So I am Kristen Gibson. I'm the managing editor here at the Bridge Student Newspaper. I am about to finish my Associates of Arts and Science in December, and I'm pursuing a journalism degree at EKU in the fall of next year.
Awesome. So Noah, go ahead, take it away, because I know you two also have a great relationship. So go on ahead.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a history, I guess you could say.
Since 2011.
Was that when I was in 6th grade?
That was when you were in 6th grade.
The
The reason I know that is because your dad, who also works at Southwestern High School, sent me a message. It was the day that my wife and I got back from our honeymoon. And said, my son's starting 6th grade band, and he wants to be a percussionist. And I said, that sounds great. So 2011.
Do you have any baby pictures, maybe,
of Jack? Oh, dude, I got tons. I'll show them to you. Or of Noah.
Of Noah.
Oh, no, I got rid of those.
I'll send you one. All right, we'll plug it.
Just look at Noah now and just imagine him slightly.
Take the beard and take the mask off, and then we're good.
There's more put some goofy glasses on him and shrink him a little bit.
So Hop, let's just kind of go over your background a little bit, how you became the musician you are, the success you have, and just kind of give us a little background on that.
So my family's pretty musical. My dad is a pretty accomplished trumpet player, and my mom played clarinet in high school. My grandfather was he was a high school band director and choir director, and led choir at church and things like that for a number of years in Monticello. And my other grandfather, his actual profession was he was a funeral director, but when he was in the Army, he played trombone in a couple jazz bands, almost like dive bar bands, where he was stationed in Texas and stuff. So, music's kind of it's a family trait a little bit. I've got another cousin that's a musician. I've got another cousin that's a composer. So I mean, this is kind of in that whole side of the family. So we're all in the game a little bit. But I started playing percussion in 1995 in 5th grade at Monticello Elementary School, and it was kind of a weird story, but it was the short version of the long story is was when I was a kid I had cancer in my right shoulder, and one of the ways for therapy to kind of get back to being able to use my arm and stuff was kind of mentioned, maybe you should think about doing like percussion or something like that, because then you get to use your arm and things like that. And so from there it kind of turned into a thing. So that's sort of the start, and then from there we played all the way through middle and high school, figured out I liked it pretty good and I enjoyed it, and I was pretty good at it, and so went on to college, where I immediately realized that I wasn't as good as I thought that I was. I realized I was pretty fast. I needed a lot of learning. I needed to learn a lot. And so went all the way through college and got out. I played in some groups here and there, and then ultimately started teaching, and kind of been there ever since. I've been doing some writing and some composing and some performing in addition to my teaching stuff, and I've got a couple pieces published through C. Allen Publications in North Carolina, and I've gotten the opportunity to get to present some clinics in Brazil and El Salvador, and I've been all over the country doing some clinics and performing and things like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of so it's the grind. You keep doing what you do, one thing, and that leads to the next thing, and then that leads to the next thing, and before you know it, you're like, done 10 things.
So you mentioned some of your pieces. Can you just name some of them off for us?
So I've got a few for percussion ensemble that have been moderately successful. I've got one called Bellado, and I've got one called Moving Mountains, and then one called Few and Far Between. All 3 of those are on They're being performed like this semester around the country at various places. I have a marimba solo called Ghost Garden, which is actually, I think I'm correct in this, I think it's the best-selling marimba solo in the last 2 years in the world. And so that's pretty awesome. For coming from a high school, we didn't even have a marimba. So that was pretty cool. And then I'm just finishing a book of drum set solos and play-along tracks that's going to be published supposed to be November, but we'll see. The pandemic kind of threw a monkey wrench in everything.
Definitely, I think it did for everyone.
Yeah.
Now, you were mentioning some of your music and some of your work. I actually heard that one of them was inspired by your son. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the Moving Mountains piece that I mentioned, that was that draws a little bit from the folk music of northern Thailand, which is actually where he's from, and we adopted him from Thailand. And the idea, and that's a very mountainous region, and we kind of live in the mountains here. So the idea of moving mountains from there to here, and then also the Christian allegory of the Bible verse about faith as small as a mountain of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. So that's that whole story, and that one's been played a lot, and turned out pretty cool.
Awesome. So as a musician, what would you say, are some of your goals within the next year? And also, how do you feel like, you're going to move out of this pandemic like a better person?
To work with JayZ is the goal. No, I mean, this is a weird time, for everybody in every profession, but musicians especially. I mean, it's weird how this has kind of led everybody into a different lane of the same path. Like, we're all kind of going the same direction, but we're in a different lane. Like, I've started doing more remote sessions than I've ever done. I've done more remote recording sessions and remote Skype lesson, video lesson, that kind of stuff in the last 4 months than I have in the last 10 years. I did one earlier today. I did a drum set clinic with a high school today. I've got one next week I'm doing with a high school in Atlanta. 1 week after that I'm doing with a college in Chicago. I mean, like, those opportunities don't exist 6 months ago. But now it's sort of like, well, we have to bring somebody in. Now we all know how to use Zoom, so let's just do that. So those opportunities have presented themselves. So hopefully when we get back to normal, those opportunities will still be there in some capacity or another. The remote session thing that I mentioned, that's starting to happen now. They're not bringing in professional players to play on records anymore because you can't bring these guys in. They're starting to bring some of them in. But now it's a lot of, well, who do you know that can do it from home? And for those reasons, I've gotten to play on a couple decently big projects from my house and just emailed the stuff in and then let somebody in Nashville at their house do the thing, and then it goes on. So it's weird. In some ways, I've actually gotten more work, but it's been different work. So I don't know. I mean, in terms of what the landscape of everything's going to look like a year from now, who knows? I mean, it could be anything.
Sorry.
You're good.
So I guess the next question would be, what advice would you give to upcoming musicians who want to get better, even become a teacher like you, right now in our time, what we're going through now, and in the future when this is all over?
Well, now, so first of all, the big thing, and you've heard me say this way too much, is there's no voodoo, there's no pixie dust. If there was, we'd all have it. No one wants you to be better more than I do. I've said that to you guys a million times. It's like, I want you to be good, but for you to be good, you've got to want to be good, and you've got to get up and grind and make it a thing. I say like I'm an old man. I'm 35. Kids today. But really and truly, even how old are you? Like 22?
21. Yeah.
21. Okay, so 14 years. That's not a huge difference, in age. Even when I was in high school, the internet was not what the internet is now. The thought of like going on YouTube or whatever and watching somebody play whatever you're working on and play it really, really well, it was just, that didn't exist. And now that does exist. So you have, I say kids, students, people that are studying their instrument, whether they be 50 or whether they're 15 or whatever. They've got a lot of resources to draw from, and they've got the ability to pull in a whole lot of information. And sometimes that information is overwhelming. So any advice I would be to say, use your information, but don't be overwhelmed. Don't look at it and say, man, I don't even know where to start. Which I feel like is almost what happens sometimes with students. Like they see so much that they think, well, I can't ever be that good. You know, they see the end, they don't see the beginning.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
and so it's a process. I mean, no, if you know, I tell sixth graders this all the time. It'd be weird if you picked up a horn and were good. You're not bad. You're not bad. Like, you think you're bad, and it sounds bad. Like, sixth graders sound bad. The best sixth grader still sounds terrible. Like, but I mean, that's not weird. It would be weird if you picked it up and just started wailing. You know, then you wouldn't need me.
Yeah.
But so if you're starting out, just learn to embrace the fact that you're not going to sound good, and learn to embrace the grind of getting better, and just these little moments each day of getting a little bit better, and to find a hero and just try to sound like that person. You know.
Definitely. So with that, so I think what he's trying to say is he has some footage of Noah playing when he was in sixth grade. He doesn't want to show us right now. So,
but man, I'll tell you, Noah's crew that he was with, it was a great bunch of kids. Like, they were just, I mean, everybody had a good personality. Everybody was an easy kid to work with. They were all smart. Like, even Noah, believe it or not, smart dude.
Shocking, I know.
I know. But they all worked hard, and they were all each other's like biggest cheerleader, but also each other's biggest competitor. Which in a group dynamic like that, that's what you want. You want everybody to push each other positively.
I feel like, and I mean, I've heard this from you, and I would agree to you, or with you now. When you've been in the way that we perform, the way that we work together, you have a group like that every 4 years, you'd say, whereas like knock everything out of the park.
Yeah.
And we were good. Like, we were really successful. We worked really well together. We were all really good friends, and we just compared to the group before us, not shaming anybody, it's a little rough sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So what would you say, being in music in high school, how did that inspire your life and your education?
Honestly, and this is a lot of props to him, it taught me how to work. It taught me how to work hard, especially for something I wanted to be good at and be successful in. We went out and we killed it. I mean, we went to PASIC. What was that, 2018 or 2017?
17, I think.
And we got fourth place, 96 point something.
Something like that, yeah. International contest.
Yeah, international. And it was just because we worked hard. It wasn't that we were, we had more skill than one person. It was just we wanted it and we worked hard. So I would say my biggest takeaway from being in a music program and working with such phenomenal people, it was just taught me how to work, taught me how to be successful, and how to be humble about it too. And
that's the big thing with music education. I mean, not taking anything against sports, but that's always the big thumbs in the air. Like, this is why we have athletics in middle and high schools, and that's a good reason to have them, is because it teaches kids the value of teamwork, how to work hard, how to be part of a group, like to understand your role inside of things and how to do your job, pretty much. And like, those are all great things, and those are all important things, and we should absolutely have those things. But music does that as well, and in some degree, almost more so, because if you're on the football team and you can't hack it, they just pull you out. Noah's dropping bombs over here, just being terrible. I can't just. I got to leave him in. Like, he's the guy. There's nobody else. Yeah, so it's the same kind of thing, man. It's the understanding for kids to understand their role inside of a thing that's bigger than themselves. And then when it actually works and they hear that finished product of saying, "Oh wow, that's why we did that."
That's what I see a lot with a lot of creatives. It's like when you see like a lot of times people, like, as creators, we tend to look at the end goal and think that we have to embody that right now when we just started within the process. But I'm kind of curious. I see with a lot of creatives, like, where I do things in graphic design and also just traditional art. Noah is also a musician, but also does things in graphic design. I see it's a trend with creatives, is where it's not just one avenue of creativity, but usually have like a couple other things. So what other things, like if music wasn't your main calling, what else would you see yourself doing?
I've gotten into a little bit of doing some film stuff. Not that I myself like do the film stuff, but like in some of these pieces that I write, a friend of mine does videos for me.
Awesome.
And so working with him sort of on this is what I want to look like, and this is kind of what I'm thinking, and then trying to edit some videos myself and all those kind of things. I think that's something that if I really got the opportunity to invest some time and to really learn about it, that's the thing right now. I just don't have time to sit down and like really learn about it. But if I could do that, I think I would really enjoy it. There is something, and people that probably do it for a living would say I'm crazy, but there's something about editing video that's kind of soothing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Hit that on the nail.
And until Final Cut crashes, and then it's time to get angry. But most of the time, it's something about it. I don't know why. It's just kind of there's a zen thing about it, I guess, that you just kind of focus and lock in on it. But I don't know. I really like it. So probably film, some kind of film something.
So what would you tell a student maybe on the fence of going to college and majoring in music or education, what you invested in your education? What would you tell them?
I would tell kids, and this is what I tell kids, and he'll tell you, if make sure you want to major in music and not want to major in high school band. Because I think a lot of high school band kids, they love their high school band experience, and they want to keep that going. And college music is not high school band. It's a totally different animal. And so I tell kids, if you're going to go major in music, you need to go understand that you're majoring in music. You're not majoring in high school band. It's a totally different thing. And some kids understand that, some kids don't. And but it's a different thing. And so I would say that. And to major in education, just to say I want to be an educator in any capacity. You know, we talk about what things are going to look like after the pandemic. I mean, there's a field that 10 years from now, I couldn't tell you. I mean, that's going to change so much. And we're seeing how successful and in some ways and unsuccessful in other ways the online platform is kind of in real time right now. You know, we started school August 24th and September the 17th. So we're a month, basically 3 weeks in. And there's been some resounding successes. And there have been some stunning failures.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a learn as you go kind of thing
for
everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody said we're building the plane while we're flying it. You know, that's
Pretty
exactly
much.
right.
So kind of within takeaway, within closing of the episode, what would you say is like the three biggest things that someone could walk away from hearing this conversation and really benefit themselves moving forward?
Well, first of all, I would say, you know, don't do drugs, grab the bull by the horns. If you dream it, you can do it, whatever the positivity thing that you're supposed to say and all these things. No, I mean, I would say that if you could take anything away from all this, I would say, first of all, is don't be in a rush to be successful. To whatever degree of success I've ever had, it's taken a long time. I've had to fail my way to success. To any degree of thing that's ever been good, I've had to fail at it a whole lot before it ever worked out. So don't be in a rush to get there. You'll get there eventually. And the second thing is just for people to support in the community, to support our arts and our creative side of things, whether that's, you know, drama or music or, you know, graphic design or whatever. All of those things are kind of part of a big world. And sometimes people don't realize how important it is until they don't have it.
Exactly.
And I think people sitting around now saying, you know what, I've not been to a concert in 6 months, or I've not seen. I mean, when was the last movie you saw?
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't think about all that stuff. And now we're just watching we're all just watching The Office on Netflix now. Like, there's no art being created. Or we're starting to run out. Like, everything that was kind of backlogged is getting to the end, you know?
Yeah.
And so people, I think, now are starting maybe to realize that, oh, wow, this is all important. So, and that all starts locally, too. There's so much stuff locally that happens that needs to be supported as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we end, I have two pictures here I'd like you to take a look at.
Okay. Oh, man.
Tell me your thoughts.
Okay, so these are great. Where'd you get these?
Stuart.
Okay. Yeah, so Stuart's son is this guy. That's Will. That's Dr. Will Simpson.
Can we show the camera real quick?
Yeah. That's Dr. Will Simpson now. He is the professor of sociology, I think, maybe, at U of L. That's Joe. That's the guy that does my videos. He works for a company in Louisville, and he does sound design and graphic design and editing for movies.
Okay.
So, like, when you watch, like, Foley stuff, like when you watch a movie, you see somebody, like, walking through the snow. There's, like, recording of some dude, like, putting feet in snow. That's Joe. That's what Joe does.
Oh, okay, cool.
But he also does video editing and stuff. That's my big dumb face at the ripe old age of, like, 14. Played in a rock and roll band. We had a record deal. We signed a record deal, I think, when I was in like a sophomore in college. And we used to play gigs all around the Southeast. We would like leave school at 3 o'clock on Friday and drive to like Knoxville, Tennessee or somewhere, you know, somewhere reasonably close and play a gig on Friday night And then we would never have money for like a hotel or anything, so we would just say from the stage, we would just be like, hey, we're from Kentucky, can we stay at somebody's house tonight? And we always would have to take a friend with us. We'd say, so-and-so's back at the merch booth. We can stay at your place tonight, go holler at him. And some stranger would come up and say, hey, yeah, you can stay in my grandma's basement. And we'd say, sounds great, stranger. And we'd go to stay at their house. And then we get up the next morning, we go to like Atlanta, play a gig in Atlanta, same thing. Get up Sunday morning, drive home, go to school on Monday.
I bet you met some interesting people.
We had some stories, and it's also crazy that we didn't die, or that our parents like let us do it. We weren't like lying about it. We flat out say that's what we're going to do. Our parents would be like, okay. I can't believe that. So,
Will you give us just one of the stories about can we stay at your house?
we stayed at a place. I think it was in, and these guys could tell you better than I could probably. I feel like it was in West Virginia or Pennsylvania, or maybe it was in D.C.
Okay.
I don't know. It was somewhere. But we stayed somewhere, and this kid had night terrors, like this guy that let us stay. And it's like, I knew that was a thing, but I'd never known anybody to have them. So my man wakes up at like 4 a.m. screaming, like, and of course we're all like, "What's going on?" And he just like laid back down, went to sleep, and we're like, "That's weird." And then 30 minutes later, he did it again, and like it was this whole thing. So it was slept at a lot of Walmart parking lots. Like it was a whole adventure, man.
Life offer.
So in closing, so we definitely want to support, all the guests that we have on. So what social media links or whatever platforms you would like to?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Twitter at @HopperDrums. Then I've got a YouTube channel. I think it's just if you just type in Adam Hopper on YouTube. I think I'm the only one. Maybe there's another one. I don't know. I'm the one with my big bald head on there. You'll see me. That's pretty much it. Those are the ones I do the most.
Awesome.
I don't TikTok. I never have ticked or talked.
Should start talking.
I should start TikTok.
But with that, this is Damarian Jones.
I'm Noah Allen.
Kristen Gibson.
Adam Hopper.
And we're signing out on episode 4 of SCC's The Gateway. So.